Hi everyone, this is Dr. Liz the OT, and this is a quick tip video on meal times with your kiddos. I oftentimes have parents coming and asking me how they can get their kids to eat a little bit more at meal times or eat what's being presented. So hopefully these 3 tips will be helpful. The first one is that we have to recognize that kids don't have the same palate as adults, and so if we are going to be presenting a meal with maybe 3 parts, like a meat, a vegetable, and a starch, maybe like pasta or something like that, we want to make sure that before we season all of the foods, if we're going to be mixing that together or even separately with lots of seasoning, we may want to pull out small portions that aren't seasoned for some of our kiddos that may not be able to or may not like a lot of heavy seasonings, and then that prevents you from having to cook 2 meals or have some of that tension at meal times. One of the other things is that when we should be presenting whatever's being cooked for the family to the child for them to try. And oftentimes if we present that as on a small separate dish, then it's less intimidating to the child to try. And the other thing is that children often think that the expectation of trying something means that they have to swallow it, and I will work with the child themselves and with parents often to say if we can just have a napkin close by, it can be helpful in letting the child know that the expectation is not that they swallow the new food, but that they at least taste it, put it in their mouth, and maybe chew it a couple times, and then if they don't like it, they can certainly get rid of that with the napkin. This is sometimes helpful and can oftentimes lead to some success in at least trying things. I often tell the kiddos as well that if you never tried a cookie, then you wouldn't know how wonderful that tastes. So sometimes they giggle at that and they understand it a little bit more. So the last thing is that you may want to have alternatives to maybe some of your vegetables that you may be presenting at meal times. I know in my house we have one kid that likes broccoli and the other that likes string beans, and so depending on what I'm cooking for the night, I may have to offer an alternative to the vegetable. So something like raw carrots or a banana or strawberries may be a healthy alternative, and then that's how at least my kiddos qualify for dessert. They have to have at least a vegetable or a fruit. But I don't want to cook multiple meals, and I'm sure you don't want to either. So hopefully these tips kind of help you to move forward with your meal times with your kiddos. So good luck. Thanks.